More. Keep going. They're not all here yet. Keep going. There you go. Oh, this is so lovely. I'm just going to move that high. Lovely to see you. So you're Shirley, aren't you?
I am.
So this is Shirley from Bay Financial Mentors. Shirley, and they are one of the largest financial mentoring organisations. Shirley started life as a nurse. And I just mentioned that because I feel like it may become relevant at some point. I'm not feeling well. No, I am. And then next to her we have Tania Huata from Ngāti Pāhowera Development Trust. Kia ora, Tania. Lovely to have you here. Tania spent 11 years as a soldier in the New Zealand Army, and I'm mentioning that because I find that fascinating. And then a whole lot of things, including school boards and regional planning committees and all of those things. You've been a financial mentor for 23 years, so it's a long time. And then furthest from me is Jeanette Parsons, who is with MoneyWise Manawatu. And I want to mention, because I find this fascinating, that Jeanette used to be a vet. So very similar to Shirley, only inside my head. And what else did I want to say about you? I think you started life as a nurse, and as a vet. I'm sorry, and also knows about surviving on the benefit as a single parent, which I think is a useful thing to know about you. So those are our three people. You can send your questions through on Slido, please. But let's start with my questions, and one of the things I want to ask each of you is, what are some of the things that you're seeing right now at the coalface that people might not be aware of?
I don't think there'll be very many people in the room that aren't aware of what we're seeing at the coalface, but huge increases in people looking to withdraw KiwiSaver, increase people wanting to access insolvency procedures, increases in homelessness, huge mental health, and I was really delighted to hear the guys talk about the connection between mental health and financial well-being. There is a huge toll being taken on our community. And I don't think there's a person in the room who doesn't see that at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. Tania.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. For those of you that don't know me, I've gone and written in script. And the reason I say that, because those of you that do know me know that I get off track. So, and I thought that was really awesome, how Shirley just flowed from, So, I firmly believe our BFC services play a crucial role in supporting individuals and whānau to achieve financial well-being. Ngāti Pāhowera Budget Solutions provides financial advisory services grounded in mātauranga Māori principles, offering a holistic approach. Our service embraces Māori multiculturalism, follows a kaupapa set by Māori, aligning with traditional Māori values. We work closely with iwi, hapu, marae and other community entities as needed. Our tikanga is based on our organisational values and is fundamental to who we are. I am not afraid to speak my mind, face adversity head on and tackle challenges head first. However, this approach can sometimes be a double-edged sword, going against the grain and sometimes lacking filter. We encounter unique challenges and perspectives that may not be visible to mainstream budget services. And then I put down, just in case, an example was the COVID loss of jobs. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to get into all our questions.
Fantastic. I love people who don't have a filter, so you and I are going to get on really well. This is fantastic. Thank you for being here. It's great. Jeanette, do you want to tell us about what you're seeing on the ground?
Thank you. Again, I don't think many of you will be unaware of this, but for me the standout is that that the financial troubles that our clients face don't exist in a vacuum, and that there are often other things, challenges going on in their lives, whether that's poor health or difficulty finding a job, There are a lot of mental health challenges going on with our clients, and what we find is that the stress of what else is happening in our clients' lives affects their finances, but also the stress of their financial situation can flood over into the rest of their lives. So we're finding that we're needing to be aware not just of what's brought the client in the door in terms of their upfront financial difficulty, but it's looking at what's the big picture and what supports can we put in place that will help our clients to achieve their financial goals, because it's not just about the finances.
Can I ask, is that new, the relationship between your economic situation and your mental health situation? Is this something that's new-ish?
I don't think it is, because I remember how stressful it was to try and live on the benefit.
Yeah.
And it goes hand in hand, but I think that we're seeing more and more mental health challenges in the community that will be impacting their finances as well.
Yeah, and
I don't think it's new, I think it's more of.
Okay. Shirley, I see you're nodding your head to that. What do you think, because you've been in the business for a long time as well, what is new, what is different at the moment about the situation that you are helping to deal with? What has changed from when you started?
I think it's the complexity of the clients that we work with. Anyone who's worked as a financial mentor knows, and when I employ people, I say to them, this job isn't about money, because it's not, it's about people. And money is just the little bit that sits above the water. That's the thing that brings them in. But you're absolutely right. What is challenging them are all the things that are underneath, and I think those are becoming greater. So we see people, we live in Tauranga. We have clients paying $900 a week rent on a benefit. We have people with $20 left when they've paid for their rent, and that's supposed to pay all their other bills. We see people being squeezed in multiple areas, in housing, petrol, food. There's no area that there is escape for them. We see, people talked about the sting in the tail of COVID and that it could be 7 years, and I very rudely said we don't even know where the tail starts and the arse ends, because where does the tail start for COVID? There are people still experiencing job losses, and we're living in a time where there's a worldwide inflationary pressures that are affecting people. So I think it just hugely compounds the underlying issues.
And is that, Tanya, is that what you're seeing as well? What has changed in the 23 years that you've been doing this?
If anything, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
Exacerbating?
That's the one. The situation, some families struggle to meet basic needs due to their financial constraints, and the cycle of poverty persists, affecting multiple generations. And I've got discrimination and marginalisation. Communities face additional challenges. Despite the difficulties with the cyclone recovery, we had community resilience and support networks. They played a crucial role, but Māori communities in Hawke's Bay are grappling with difficult decisions. Whānau must decide whether or not they leave their cultural roots behind, or risk leaving, or risk their lives staying in the flood-prone areas. And an example of that is the cyclone recovery cash deal. That's $556 million. That's a cost sharing, but it's not only affecting our cyclone, it's affecting our ratepayers as well. So we're seeing more of that.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from all three of you is that it's really dire and really difficult. And I want to ask this question, which is there something that you've come to believe about your work that not everybody shares or agrees with? Where do you find yourself being an outlier?
Again, I don't think I'll get too many arguments in this room. Education is wonderful. I spent all last week doing 12 sessions in one of our primaries. I was exhausted, but it was awesome. And I loved what the kids had to say, but education isn't everything. Uh-huh. More money, we need to look at our benefits, our accommodation rates, all those things. But you know what? money isn't everything. And I think that is the very hard thing for people who don't work in this sector to understand. And we talk about that, the prejudice and the marginalisation of people. Unless you've lived in that space, it is very hard to understand that area that people live in, where their time frames are so short and their risk tolerance is so high, because they're not thinking about retirement. No amount of education is going to take them there, because they're worried, am I going to have a job? Am I going to have somewhere for my kids to sleep tonight? Can I feed them?
Right.
I think that's hard to understand if you haven't worked in our sector.
You're not going to think about what will I do when I'm 65 if you don't know how you're going to feed the kids this weekend. Yeah, fair enough. Jeanette, how do you feel about that? I kind of like this question. What is it that you believe that the people around you go, you're crazy? I mean, there may not be something, but because you're so hands-on, there will be things that you see that other people don't.
I'm not sure if this directly answers that question, but one thing that I'm seeing is more and more middle New Zealanders, more and more double income earners coming through our services. When I started, we mainly dealt with low income earners and beneficiaries, but actually the high cost of living and high mortgage interest rates are affecting sort of the next band of New Zealanders. And so, yeah, we're seeing more of them.
Tanya, what about you?
Sorry, Whānau. Can you tell me what question that was?
Oh, the question is, what have you come to believe about your work that not
What
everyone
number?
else? Oh, it's number 2 on this list.
Sorry.
I've done 3 and 4, and I've gone backwards because
I think it's a good
You
one.
can't trust
'cause
me.
I wrote down so I don't get off track.
no, all good.
Okay, so over the past 2 decades, despite various policies, funding, allocations and response strategies, in my opinion, I have not seen any significant significant improvement in these areas. As financial mentors dedicated to building financial capabilities, we now face the challenge of addressing increased whānau core needs, which reduce funding. Their needs encompass rising living costs, employment challenges, housing disparity, health, crisis resilience, cultural preservation, and consistent demand for financial education. And this is me getting off track, sorry. But before we started and we went to listen to the BFC services that lost their funding, that was it was really, it hit the core of our heart. I can say, because some of you don't know, but I was fortunate to get BFC funded. Not what I wanted, but I'm just saying that I guess I'm shouting out to those of you that have money, think of our BFC services, because this is really important. And without financial mentors, I am concerned that we're going to, we're not going to be the only ones sitting in here talking. We're going to have our whānaus, in a struggling situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got off track.
No, I like it when you get off track. It's my favourite bit. What is going to make a difference? What could help the situation that people are in right now?
That's a bit like how long is a piece of string, because there's a whole lot of issues, isn't there? There are issues around supply and demand, about competition in the grocery sector, legislation around housing, all sorts of things like that we all know about, addressing of benefits. Those are kind of the more immediate things. The longer term things are things like pay equity. They are things like education and schools. They are doing something about our absolutely appalling mental health system. So many of our clients struggle with their mental health, and as you said before, some of that is the mental health has caused the problems. Other times it's the other way round. But when people are struggling, when they're in that red-brained phase, I don't know about anyone here, but I don't think well in that phase. I don't think anyone does. They make bad decisions. And they don't make bad decisions because they are not smart or not even particularly not educated. They are in that space of being completely consumed. So we actually have to look at some long-term strategies around what is actually holding people back and how we help them move forward. The amount of addiction in our communities is huge. The amount of trauma that sits underneath that addiction is huge. And what happens is that feeds into financial pressures, and we talked before about the generational cycles that we see again and again. So I think we need to stop looking at people in a way that suggests that, as the guys said earlier, if you don't have money, it must be because you weren't working hard enough, which is absolutely not true. And actually really get to the fundamentals of understanding what is stopping this person and their whānau from moving forward, because otherwise it's just a treadmill.
Yep. Jeanette, do you have any suggestions for things that we could change, apart from everything?
Yeah, pretty much everything. No, but I agree with Shirley, and this is, I've been quite encouraged by how some of the things that I wanted to say today have been already said, which is good. So there's lots of people on the same page. I think that it's about, like Shirley just said, understanding that stress and other issues affect the way we manage our money. But as well as that, the other flip side of that is not all New Zealanders have the resources or the learning that we in this room have. And so it's really important not to judge them and not to blame them for their circumstances.
Not wanting to, I'm so not meaning to be a dick about this, but is there anything that the government is doing right now, this new government, that makes you go, yay, that's moving in the right direction? I'm genuinely not trying to be a dick, because it's possible that you're going, yes, terrific idea, that one.
I love your optimism.
I'm giving it a go.
Some things really scare me. I know there'll be a lot of people in this room who maybe are lenders and are going, yay, the CCCFA is being reviewed. When I first started out in the job that I'm in now, I met a lady and she'd borrowed $500. 2 years later, she owed $3,500. And every mentor in this room can tell you a story like that. I know that the CCCFA has been cumbersome, and yes, there needs to be some changes, but we cannot water down the protection for our most vulnerable, because it is such a slippery slope for them. And I say this all the time. I've got a sign above my desk and it says, we rise by lifting others. We have to focus on the most vulnerable people and rise us all together. Yep. And those are the people who will slip, and they won't slip a little bit, they will slip right to the bottom. And it's things like legislation that protect them from, I say parasitic lenders, that's probably not very kind, but there are some out there that, there's some wonderful lenders out there, and there's some that really take advantage of our vulnerable. That scares me, those changes. And I support what Tanya's saying around funding of our sector. At a time when we are seeing more hardship, more pain, more mental health distress than we have seen in a long time, we're seeing services being cut away. Debt management services, microfinance, the things that could make a difference. I just shake my head in disbelief.
Yeah.
But it was a good try.
Yeah, thank you. I tried. Jeanette, do you have a response to?
So probably the only positive thing I can see at the moment is their commitment to financial education in schools.
Okay.
Yep, that's my short answer.
Tanya, I'm going to throw this question at you. It's from Slido. Please, would you share some positive or opportunities available for the sector and our clients at the moment? So people are desperate to hear a positive story, and can you share one with us?
hold on, what question was that?
Oh, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's just
Oh,
come in from the room. Just in the work that you're doing day to day,
Positive.
Yeah, when do you come home from a day of doing what you do and go, yes, nailed it today?
There's so many positive stories. It's countless. I find it hard to pick one, and I'm really sorry if I sound negative here, but at this stage, there's no, we're seeing. I can't. The positive ones would be the bright eye stories, getting somebody that's homeless, and no money, getting them support from MSD, maybe just the positive one. But you know what? There's more sad stories. I guess where I'm coming from. I don't want to be a hypocrite and say, oh yes, the banks are doing really awesome, and oh yes, thank you financial institutes for helping our whānau, because I'm not seeing it when they're coming through our doors. And I know that's not answering your question.
No,
so
no.
I'm like Flick. I start fires, and I'm hoping that these two will, put it out, and then jump in and help me. So, but yeah, I can't. I struggle when and I'm sorry, you're going to get sick of this. I struggle when I hear our brothers at arms losing their funding, and then I'm getting tired thinking, oh my God, there's more work for me, or those of us that are funded, and thinking, oh my God, but we didn't get what we wanted, because our CEO, he says, isn't that good news, Tania, you've been funded? And I should have jumped up with joy, but I says, no, I didn't get what I want, and he was like, but the thing is, the bright eye story would be if we were all working, and you hear it, if we all working collaboratively instead of competing with each other, because it's not about, and I'm really sad for our brothers of arms, I'm really heartbroken, but we should be helping those that are funded. We should be stepping up, and we should be approaching the financial institutes and anybody else that can keep us afloat. Getting off track. I warned you.
No, it's good. It's good. Here's a question that's come in from people in the room. How can you guys and banks work alongside each other to help boost clients' financial well-being? Shirley?
I'm glad you asked.
You're welcome.
I just spent the last couple of months visiting all 22 banks in our region. We're from Katikati to Otamarākau. And it was magic. I loved it. I went every morning, I took muffins, food's always good, and sat with them and said, this is not about competition, you're the people who see when clients start to fall. And when banks do refer to us, it's often because they've used everything in their kete. They go, I want to do more for this person, I don't know what to do. And we can stand alongside and go and meet with them in the bank, because they're often whakamaras, people have talked about, and say, and it's that change of rhetoric around what we do. We say, never say to someone, go and see the budget people. That's like, nah. But if you say, I'd like you to meet with this person, they're going to help to come alongside you, figure out how to get through this problem and go forward together. And then people go, I can do that. So it takes all the blame, it takes all of the negativity out of it, and it's empowering. And if we can get banks, when they see people start to struggle, say, hey, you want to chat with this person, we can intervene early, we can find solutions, we can set up repayments, we can advocate, we can negotiate, and we can help people to see a way forward, and hope is the most important thing.
So you hear when we had the banking panel before, and some of the banks were talking about how they have done that, and the outcomes are really good if they tap people on the shoulder and say, hey, we've noticed.
Yeah. And it's the next step, isn't it? I mean, as you may have noticed, I'm not very tall.
Perfect height. Perfect.
So I always use the diet analogy, because most of us get that. If I did everything I was supposed to do, I'd be a size 8. And I'm not. Budgets are just the same. Working with your money is just the same. It's all very well to give someone advice, But it's that next step where we come in, because what we are is coaches, we are counsellors, we're working alongside them on a day-by-day basis or a week-by-week, whatever they need, to help them to find a way through. So I think what the banks are doing are brilliant, but we need to come alongside them so that it's not just advice, it's actually someone there going, come on, you can do this.
Okay, great. So being a cheerleader for people and supporting, well, that sounded a bit wanky, but you know what I
know
mean.
what you
But
mean.
supporting them, having their back, saying, yeah, you can do it.
And finding some solutions.
Jeanette, how do you feel about that? You know, the role that you can play alongside banks?
Yeah, so I was encouraged by a lot of the stuff the bankers said this morning, just the fact that they're thinking about how to nudge people and how to identify people who could do with a nudge. I think that as financial mentors, we could play a really good role in that journey as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, please.
So I disagree with the ladies. I did say I go against the grain, didn't I? And I don't think the banks are doing a good job. I think you can do better. And the thing is that, and I'm jumping on to a different question, but and it works alongside advocacy. And as financial mentors, advocacy work is pivotal for financial mentors, and me as a MSD connector. And the thing is that we know our people. So when we go to the bank, we should be able to tell you where they are and give us the money. But so what I've got is I said empowering clients. And this aligns with the bank. Mana. In the context of Māori culture, mana represents dignity, honour and authority. Advocacy. Advocacy work is essential because it empowers clients to assert their rights and access necessary services and resources. When I'm going to the bank, and we talked about whakamā, but it's their dignity that we shouldn't have to. I say to my clients when they go in and they're going for a bank loan or whatever, and I say, okay, by the way, I'm a financial mentor, been there for 20 years plus, and so we're taught, sorry FinCap, but we're taught about empowering our whānau, educating them. I'm a fix-it, and then so, which is wrong. And the reason I say that is because when I see our whānau and they're losing confidence, and this is not only with banks, financial institutes, I give them the choice. As soon as I see them crumble and they're feeling like they're losing confidence, I'll step in. And all I'm saying with our financial institutes, and I like to say I've got a good relationship with some of the financial institutes, ASB. I now know what USAO was calling Youth Connectors, and working alongside them, we've got the funding for the New Zealand Banking Association, and that's awesome, but you can do more and you can do better. And listen to the people on the coalface. Kia ora.
Can I just jump in there as well?
Yeah.
Just to say, I don't disagree with you, Tanya. The previous response was to a question asking about the positive aspects or what we can do to work together. I don't disagree that there's plenty of room for improvement.
Yeah. No, both points taken. Here's a question that's come in from the room. What 3 things do your organisations need right now to help current and future clients? And I know that the first thing you probably want to say is funding, but can we look at the other 2 things?
I think we work very hard with our local MPs and FinCap and their relationships, do some amazing work. I think that's being heard by them, I think, is probably the biggest thing. I do feel that sometimes the solutions that are being looked at completely ignore the people that we're working with. and I frequently feel that they don't really hear what it looks like at the coalface. I know Todd Muller came and spent the day with us when we had him in our workplace, and he was blown away by the work that's being done by our sector. I think if they understood better the work that we do, because I don't, people think of us as budget organisations. As I say, it's up there with diet as unappealing, but they think it's all about dollars and cents in a row. That's the easy stuff. You can go online and do that. It's the advocacy, it's the negotiation, it's the linking them in with the services, it's the going along with them to the sexual abuse counsellor so that they actually make it through the door. It's connecting them with the addiction services if that's what they need. It's the actually ringing up and talking. I'm working on something at the moment with insurance where the company's just gone, oh, no, sorry, that's, without going into it, your policy's been cancelled. And you go back and you start fighting for them. You fight with the creditors, you fight with the organisations to protect these people. And that's the stuff I wish they understood more about our work, because I think if they understood, thank you, and they understood what we're trying to achieve, we would go a lot further.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I will come to Tania and Jeanette to answer that question as well. The three things, and I'm assuming one of them is money. But can I just point to the screen where somebody has suggested, can or do the banks fund financial mentors? Surely using financial mentors saves banks money, so a funding regime would be beneficial for both. Does that sound like a...
I like that person.
Yeah. And I'm just...
Absolutely. I look in the space of microfinance, who are... do an amazing job, and they are backed by the banks. But if you really believe in that, if you really believe in your community, if you really believe in the value of microfinance, excuse me, losing my voice, then back yourself and fund the administration of it.
And I feel like we still have some of the banking reps in the room, and certainly the banking ombudsman.
Is there a back door?
So we're not just shouting things into the ether. This is an idea that we would probably like to pick up and carry on. But let me ask Jeanette and Tania, another couple of things that isn't funding that would really make a difference to the work that you're able to do. Jeanette?
I've got Forge a Powerful Alliance that transcends organisational boundaries, and the other one that I was thinking about is behavioural change. And recognising cultural differences are key when tailoring financial advice.
Yeah, fantastic, Tania. Yeah, great. Jeanette?
Nothing new, actually. I just agree. I agree. I mean, I think we're all on the same page here. Getting the community and the financial institutions to understand more about what we do and that we're actually here. I still get clients who come to see me and they didn't even know we existed. They didn't know we offer free service. So getting the word out there more that we do exist, and actually we can work alongside clients to get them in a...
You've just reminded me of number 3. Again, if government is committed to what we do, then blimmin' spend some money to get the message out there. I mean, there'll be people in the room who are not mentors who'll be going, oh my goodness, is that what they do? And it will be a surprise to you. We've been around for 52 years. I know there's lots of organisations like that. There's a whole group of people, and you asked for a positive story before. When I first started, there's a little old lady named Margie. She's on our page, so no privacy issues. And the first thing she said to me was, she said, we have a mentor called Cody, and she said, you know what, Shirley, when I met Cody, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. And that just made my heart melt, you know. And you see that all the time. People are battling so hard and they feel like they're all alone in the battle. And I'm a visual person. I see it like a big pile of rocks on the road. They don't know which rock to pick up first. And I mean, we must all have been in those situations. We just want to sit and cry and look at the rocks because it's like, damn, where do I begin? We have such amazing services that nobody knows about, and none of us have the funding levels to run a campaign. So if the government really wants to help, get it out there. Tell people this is a free service, no steak knives, no timeshare. It's a truly free service. We're not selling you anything. The only thing we want is for you to have the life for you and your whānau that you desire. So if they could put some of that money that they are putting into other things, we won't go there, if they could put some of that money into getting the message out there, that message that they don't have to do it on their own, there is help there, that it's an empowering walk alongside you to achieve what you want to achieve, not what anyone else does, that would be phenomenal.
Is this also something that people who are in the sector can share that information with their networks, so people in the room there is something they can do after they leave today to let people know that you exist and that you're a free service?
I know everyone here from our sector spends a whole lot of time promoting what we do. And it's always hard to get to those most vulnerable people, that don't necessarily connect in. They're the ones we have to focus on the most. It's that old inverse care law for anyone who's got a medical background of the people who need it the most, get it the least. How do we get to them?
We've only got a minute left. I want to finish this, if I can, on a positive note. I mean, we don't always have to be positive, especially when things might be a bit shit, but I want to know, just briefly, from each of the three of you, why you stopped being a nurse or a soldier or a vet and got into this sector. What was the plan? What was the dream? What was the drive that you wanted to do?
Equity rather than equality. I want to see, as I said before, and I know it's cliche, but I want to see us all rise together, and that means that some people need a little bit more help than others, but I believe we can get there.
Fantastic, Shirley. Thank you. Thank you for what you do and why you do it. Tania, what attracted you?
Michelle, I should have introduced myself to you. And like I said, I always go against the grain. So I know you want to hear a positive story, but she gave me a question to say, if I have a magic wand, and you gave it to the bankers, so I want to tell you my magic wand. I would wave my magic wand and restructure the financial landscape. First, I will eliminate the current political and judiciary system, wiping it clean of any hidden agendas or secret societies. Then I'd usher in a community-based approach where morals and ethics take centre stage in decision-making. Right now, these crucial values seem buried beneath bureaucracy and self-interest. So I didn't write all this. I had a whole page and I had to cut it short, so I didn't write it and then not tell you how I felt. So kia ora.
Yeah, thank you. You're my favourite person for answering a question I didn't ask. It makes me very happy. Jeanette, you can answer the question I asked or any other question.
Awesome. I'll answer the question you asked mostly. So I have had the experience of living on a benefit and being extremely stressed out by not having a lot of money coming in. And I was fortunate to have friends and whānau who gathered around me and supported me through that journey. And I think I just really wanted the opportunity to provide that support for other people because I know how valuable it is and how it can change your life. I know one of the first things when I first became a financial mentor and a client would walk in and they'd be stressed and have this huge load and they'd just sit in front of me and they'd tell me their story and I'd give them a bit of empathy and say that I'd heard them. You could see the load lightening, and just having that someone else walking alongside you in a difficult part of your journey, it's priceless, it really is.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeanette and Tania and Shirley, for what you do, why you do it, and the way you do it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.